I think you and all should read my new song, Ode to Sam Gilbert.
Until our eyes begin to bleed.
Don't spoil the surprise.
But that should make us want to read it all the more.
One can only hope, now that the proverbial cat is out of the bag.
Or you could deny any and all evidence of this conversation ever existing, then proceed on a harpooning spree of all possible witnesses.
As much as I admire the way you think, I'd rather not, for the sake of posterity. When next generation wonders how Sam Gilbert came to be the supreme ruler of the formerly free world, I shall have an answer. Not to mention that would involve your own harpoon-induced demise.
I suggest you burn it. Oh, wait.
Well played, Commander.
So, when Sam Gilbert claims pull in the name of the Gingers, you'll be citing this very conversation as forlorn evidence of said conquest that, in retrospect, could have been used to prevent it?
As twisted and circularly futile as it may sound to you now, yes, that is precisely how I plan to go about business.
A fine endeavor, if ever I've heard one. Please, don't let me keep you from conducting this ingenious production of yours. Simply ingenious.
I do admire both your patience with the weak of reason and your total lack of conscience. For a mortal enemy, I seem to admire your tact and wit far more than would most other nemesis. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly, good sir. It's a complicated association to be sure. For mortal enemies, we tend to have rather similar notions and opinions on various situations, don't you think? Not many would be of like mind on such matters, or as civil. Need we look any further than Kim and her mortal enemy?
Entirely valid, as I've come to expect of your points that you make in these sober hours of the young morning.
Aha! These wee hours of the morning are when I'm at my best. Insomnia does seem to have its benefits, don't you think? But you knew this.
Oh, naturally. And to be quite honest, it does seem as though the abandonment of sleep has made me feel a great deal better physically as well as intellectually.
Well, see, living proof! And power to you getting all fine and well under your own power. Sleep, foundation built up by the powers that be to keep you in a nice, sedated state, easily controllable. And remember, the more you know, because knowledge is power!
Why, thank you, that was most enlightening.
And now that I've imparted some of this vital knowledge onto you, you'll be all the more ready to face the realities of Sam Gilbert's vicious and unrelenting regime when it finally reaches its peak in a few years.
What seemed to be ages later, and this conversation has taken no direction even remotely beneficial to society. It is this very brand of idle chatter that keeps television networks from simply cutting daytime programming altogether and replacing it with still life images of kittens and soap. I am proud to be a part of it.
Well, that's arguable. I did just tell you that an important component in Sam Gilbert's inevitable worldwide revolution will be to keep the masses entranced through beta waves and directly into their brains while they're vulnerable into sleep.
Frankly, and in utter disregard for the continuation of this glorious streak of verbose prattle, fuck society. And yes, the irony of the preceding statement was wholly intended.
I figured as much, to be quite honest. But the Black Dye Society is growing ever larger, and what are we to do? Simply sit around and watch as it festers in its own disgusting regards and habits, only to degrade even further than we thought comprehensible? Or take a passive-aggressive stance and let Sam Gilbert work it out while keeping this life-saving knowledge for ourselves? The latter seems quite much easier and beneficial, in complete agreement with your previous statement. Whether you or society choose to make use of the aforementioned information is an entirely different story. Of course, I'm entirely fine, perhaps even more so with the alternatives as well. I'd just as well like to see the still life images of kittens more often. They're oh so soothing.
I'm glad you now renounce your sarcasm and behold the fundamental accuracy of my business plan.
I assure you, the sarcasm is still quite present. Simply incognito. But that aside, I think we all knew beforehand that our methods of going about business, as one would call them, were quite similar already, comrade.
Not only am I unaware of the existence of a location titled Cognito in which sarcasm could hide, but I'm utterly dumbfounded that a quality of tone so precious to our kind would wish to escape there. Wherever Cognito is, it is a most wretched place for show.
I do like how I answered your sarcasm about my sarcasm with sarcasm about your sarcasm, which you then countered with sarcasm about my sarcasm. Very well done.
For the third time in this magnificent duel of wits, I must admit my admiration, if for no better reason that you noticed this pattern at all. You are a cut above, Commander.